Hey, this is Don from Padlock Technologies again with a quick video. Got a question about, it's an umbrella question. Um, Asking me about tenant control. So tenant control, the reason why I was asked this because a lot of people see this in the menu, but they don't really actually know what it is, what they would even use it for. You read some of the documentation, it's kind of unclear. So I'm kind of going to clear it up for you. So let's go to the whiteboard here, or the blackboard. We're going to call this tenant control. All right. So what tenant control is, it allows you to, it's just like the name states, it allows you to control access to specific tenants that you own as a business. So you got Office 365, you got Dropbox, you got Google Workspace, stuff like that, right? So what happens is we have a user, let's say we have a user here, and they have access to, let's say Office 365. So this is T1 for tenant one, tenant two, tenant three. Not saying that someone would actually have all these tenants, and then they have a personal tenant, personal T, personal tenant, right? So what could happen? Let's say you had some data in tenant, some data here, critical data here, and this tenant number one, right? What this person can technically do is they can log into tenant one, grab the data, and then transfer or exfiltrate that data to their personal tenant. What does that mean? That means your personal data is, or your critical data is now someone's personal tenant, and you don't even know what's going on with the personal tenant. You don't know if it's secure. But this is how security incidents happen, right? Because you don't know how secure this person's tenant is. All right. So what tenant control actually does is when you set it up, tenant control will say, hey, you can only get to tenant one, right? Now, this is when you're on-prem or remote, right? Because this should be on, obviously, this should be on a corporate asset. You should not have, the umbrella client or any of that kind of stuff on a personal machine. Now, you can do this feature. This is not a feature that's just strict to Umbrella. I'm just using Umbrella as an example now, but this feature is on Umbrella and my favorite, secure access. So you do have this feature in both, okay? Now with Umbrella, you clearly need SIG to do this. If you have DNS layer security, you can't really do this. Secure access couples everything in it, so it's in there by default. So again, you'll have access to this tenant here and this data here. As a network admin, let me make sure the network admin's over here because this is where you're going to control it. Network admin, network engineer, whatever you want to call it. We'll say you have access to that data and you do not have access to your personal tenant. So we'll go right here. You do not have access to your personal tenant while you are under my policy. So when you're on-prem, whether it's the HQ, whether it's the data center, whether it's at a branch site, you cannot get to your personal tenant anywhere, right? It's not an approved tenant, so you can't get there. If you are at home and you're using a corporate laptop, once again, policy is going to follow you whether you're on-prem at a branch or somewhere else in the world, right? So that policy is going to follow you no matter where you are, and you will not be able to get to your personal tenant while you are using a machine that is connected into Umbrella or secure access, right? Now, are there other ways to circumvent that? Yes, and there's other controls that you need to put in place to avoid that, right? One of the things for Shadow IT is CASB, all right? Cloud Access Security Broker, right? CASB, you need to put that in play. Now, there is CASB and Umbrella too, but it's only for Office 365, right? And if you want me to explain what CASB does, I can do a video about that as well. But there is CASB there, and then Cisco has another product called Cloud Lock, but that's a whole nother product, right? But you can do CASB to kind of put a compensating control there. This tenant control is basically to say you can only get to the approved tenants where the applications exist to access the data, and you cannot get to your personal tenant. So this prevents exfiltration attacks, right? Exfiltration from it's technically an attack, but it's an internal attack because there's, disgruntled employee decides I'm going to siphon all your data and then put it into my personal tenant. Well, tenant control will actually prevent that, right? Because you can't get to your personal tenant. So you're going to have to find another way to get there. And then if you put CASB on top of that, you can also circumvent that there. But again, this happens whether on-prem, at a branch site, HQ, data center, somewhere in the world. And like I like to say, our slogan, access your data anywhere or anytime, anywhere securely. This is what tenant control is all about, right? This is what SASE is all about. Accessing the data anytime, anywhere, securely. And that's why if anybody wants to do that, you really need to start investing in, SASE solutions, SSE solutions, SASE, SSE, whatever you want to call it. You want to invest in those solutions so you can actually get that, wide overstating policy or encompassing policy that will protect you wherever you are in the world, right? So that was tenant control in a nutshell. As a summary, like I said, tenant control is basically a method to prevent people from taking data from an approved tenant, corporate tenant in Office 365, Dropbox, Google. I think there's Slack as well, taking data from that tenant, corporate tenant, and put it in their personal tenant. And they're only allowed to access whatever tenants that are approved by you. So this is Don from Padlock Technologies. Again, hope this video was informative. Don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. If you are looking to get into SASE, I'm going to do a masterclass pretty soon on just a big masterclass about all the features of SASE, whether it's Umbrella or Cisco Secure Access. If you are looking to implement this in your network right now and not wait for the masterclass, there's going to be a link in the description for a discovery call. Click that button. Let's schedule the discovery call and let's get you secure. Right? Let's get you. Let's mitigate some of the risks with this the moving environment. Like it changes every day. So let's get on a call. Let's talk about how to get you from no SASE to full implementation of SASE, whether it's Umbrella or Cisco Secure Access in your environment. Hope you enjoyed this quick video. Thank you and have a nice day.